boys and girls, children of all ages. It's your boy, your buddy, your pal, the nonprofit sector connector. Coming at you, not from the top of my attic. I am not at the top of my house. I'm not in the attic. I'm actually, I'm on the road. I'm traveling. I'm gonna make a quick comment about the flight down here because the flight down here, I'm actually, will forever be known as Rosner Fest 2022. I'm down here visiting some friends down here in Dunwoody, Georgia. Shout out to the gang from TNG, the networking group. We're down outside of Atlanta. And this is a professional, I was going to say it's a professionals and animal lovers show, Tommy D. His show is called Philanthropy and Focus. Tommy D did not get enough sleep over the last couple of days. I'll tell you, I land here in Atlanta and the pilot says, "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Atlanta, Georgia." And I got such a kick out of it, especially because of the topic. Lisa B. Lewis, good morning. How are you, my friend? What's going on?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Isn't that funny that the pilot said that? Because I say that all the time. And certainly we're going to talk about Omnium Circus. I
wonder if he's an old circus guy.
I don't know.
He worked in the circus.
He might be an old circus guy. He might just be a guy with a good sense of humor and personality, and it could be that. I'll tell you, I mean, if COVID has taught us anything, I'll just kind of reflect on last night's event that we had down here in Dunwoody, Georgia. If COVID's taught us anything, it's that we can access folks around the country and be friends and build relations with folks around the country without ever having met them initially, at least in person. So I met a whole bunch of folks last night that I'd met through the last 2 years through this organization we run called TNG, the networking group. And it's just been pretty special to get to meet these people in the flesh, as they say, in real life. So I tell you all that, and I think we'll talk a little bit about virtual today, I think, Lisa, what that's done, because certainly your organization has grown up in this era in history, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
I'm going to interrupt you real quick before
we interrupt away
about meeting all these people and access. And it occurred to me that we're on the radio, so people don't have an image ID of what we're looking for, of what they're to imagine in their head.
I know that's important for you to do, so I'd like you to do that throughout the show. And my friend Kellyanne Serini, who originally told me about you, had said like it's from an inclusive perspective, you're very focused. FOCUSED, not PHOCUSD, as in philanthropy in focus, but you're very focused on the inclusivity of even having a conversation like this. So I know you want to point out who we are, what we look like, things like that, as I've understood is sort of pretty important to you.
I'd love to give us a little image description. I'll do mine, and I'll let you copy with yours. And Absolutely. That way anybody who's listening to us can create a picture in their mind, whether they're sighted, blind, low vision, doesn't matter. They can create a kind of image. So I am a Caucasian woman with brown hair going just past my shoulders. I have on red glasses, red lipstick, and a red shirt. Behind me is a wall. To my right is Omnium Circus posters. To my left is a large bookshelf full of a lot of stray papers and a lamp.
Well, I'm just glad that this particular episode is the episode I get to describe where I am, because if there was any other Friday morning, I would say I'm behind a desk, a standing desk, and you all will not be able to see all the messy papers that I've hidden away from outside of the camera's view. So I will tell you, so I am a white man. I'm wearing a black hat, and my sideburns are super long, and I got a goatee, and it used to be all black, and now it's black and gray. My goatee, that is, and I wear these wooden beads. This is fun. I never actually explained this part. So this is fun for those folks who, shout out to my friend Robert Rosner, who I just talked about, and, who's down here in Dunwoody. And, he always listens to the show. So he's never watched the show on Facebook. So he could see it, just hasn't seen it. So I'm wearing these wooden beads that you see, Lisa. But for those of you here, I'll try to make some noise with them. I always wear these beads when I'm, as long as I don't have a shirt and tie on. That's kind of what I do. A hoodie that I just got here in Dunwoody. So that's kind of cute. So it's a new Dunwoody hoodie. It says Funwoody on the back, which it's very colorful. Lisa, I'll show you so people can see.
Funwoody. It said.
So I picked this up last night here in down here in Dunwoody, Georgia. And actually I have a big yellow wall behind me. There's a painting there, and there's a lamp over my right shoulder. And wearing a black hat, and it's a black Nike hat, and it actually says Little Flower Golf Outing, Little Flower 25th anniversary golf outing. Little Flower, one of my favorite nonprofits out on Long Island. I was going to say out here on Long Island, but I'm not there, so I can't say that, but they're on Long Island. And I'm excited to have done what we just did. I had heard that's what you're very focused on, that, and it's important to you, Lisa, to make sure inclusivity is on brand for certainly what you do. So let's take that as a segue right into the conversation, but I want to read something first. So Omnium is Circus Reimagined, a bold new circus, which is a unique visionary nonprofit organization that is breaking new ground in the world of circus entertainment. It is the first fully inclusive circus company in the country. Our goal is to ensure that performers, staff, and audiences reflect the ethnicities, faces, colors, abilities, values, cultures, and interests of the millions of children and people of all ages that enjoy the circus. I think that's a great place to set it up. So Lisa B. Lewis, first of all, let me say something different. I will, gang, be on the road with the circus at some point. It's out there now. Lisa and I have talked about it. I've said it in other forums. We're going to figure out what that looks like. I did wear a tails and a top hat. Wasn't really tails on my wedding day, but I wore a top hat. I had like a cane, and it's called a breakfast suit, Lisa, if you're familiar, like a cutaway suit where sort of almost like tails, but like I sort of sometimes fancy myself a Willy Wonka type, if you will.
That's perfect. That's a perfect description.
Yeah, like I'm definitely love the Gene Willy Wonka, Gene Wilder. Look, Johnny Depp, I'm a big Johnny Depp fan. I think he does great stuff. That was a little darker, as it would be with Johnny Depp, Willy Wonka, but different story, but fun nonetheless. So tell me about this circus. Tell me about your background. Where does this even come from? Like, I know you spent some years working with the Big Apple Circus. Take us on that journey. As I always say, and we talked earlier in the week, I want to hear about Lisa, your background. What catalyst said to you, I need to create this circus, and then what the circus is all about. And like I say, fortunately or unfortunately, we will run out of time before we know it, but I want to make sure you get to tell as much of the story while we're here together.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's not like there was sort of one lightning bolt that hit me on the head, but it did. So for many years, I started my career as a young person in college, majoring in indecision, which is what people do at liberal arts universities, or at least did in my day. And one of my friends said, "Hey, Ringling is coming through town. You don't know how to juggle. Why don't you go? At least at the audition, they'll teach you to juggle." So I went, and I was bitten by a circus bug and have never left.
Wow. Wait a minute. So I have a friend of mine, Joe Cursillo. He's an attorney. He is the same day he found out he got into law school. To say Joe is an attorney is just such an understatement. He's an attorney, just a very successful attorney. He was a judge. The day he found out he made it into law school, he also found out that he made it to clown college. Wow. He had gotten accepted into clown college, and he did both. And he worked at Hershey Park for a number of years, like as a clown and juggler. He's a hell of an entertainer. So, it's funny, like, so you went there, and what happens? You learned to juggle?
I did learn to juggle, actually.
You still juggle?
Many of, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I did that, did go to clown college, and my career moved forward. I ended up coming back into New York and working in schools, working with the Big Apple Circus, working in hospitals. I did 15 years inpatient in pediatrics wards,
Really?
school shows, worked with children in New York we call District 75, which is the district where you classify anybody who has an IEP. It's not a geographic district. It just means you happen to have an IEP, which is
let's just pause on that 1 second to kind of hit some folks. An IEP, individual education plan.
It's what happens when you need to learn outside of the box, because the school systems are set up to
Lisa, I just hit your mute button by accident.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right. Nope, all good.
So schools are programmed, obviously, because they need to educate large numbers of people to teach in a certain way. And if you learn a different way or need different accommodations, then you get what's called an IEP, an individual education plan. So
Yep.
in New York, they call it District 75. And those can range anywhere from a child who's really neurodiverse, a child who has a physical disability. It could be anything. I mean, IEP could be anything. Who knows? Who even knows? Anyway, did that, worked with that. I started working with the Big Apple Circus, creating access. They had a program called Circus of the Senses, which was 1 day a season or 2 days a season, where they would bring in kids from schools for the blind and schools for the deaf, and they would provide audio description and sign language interpretation. And they were magnificent days. It was everybody's favorite day, performers, artists, everybody's favorite day. And I volunteered, then I became in charge, then I became the marketing promoter, community outreach. It became my heart.
Yeah.
I really, truly love that program.
Why was that? I mean, aside from like, we could peer into it and guess, but why was that so important? Why was that so influential to the performers? You know, obviously those who were attending got to see or hear, or maybe not see or hear, but feel and touch things that they hadn't in the past. Why was it so sentimental and important to you all on the performer side?
I'm not exactly sure. It will take someone with a PhD that actually went to school for one instead of having a practical one to tell you why. But there's something about the human spirit that when you see a child smile, and you see a child smile with a connection to something that they've never previously had, or that they had last year and couldn't wait until this year, and they're so excited when they can feel the props, when you know they've experienced a circus through the audio description, or understood the words through the interpreter, or however they've been given the bridge to access their experience.
Do you remember the movie Mr. Holland's Opus?
No.
Mr. Holland's Opus, I'm trying to think of his name, big famous actor, it'll come to me. He has a son, and his son, they realize as a baby, is deaf, not hearing impaired. I think he's completely deaf. And Mr. Holland is a music teacher. So it happened, must have been that his son must have been born in like the early 70s or something like that, because when John Lennon was killed, is like an acknowledgement in the movie. And it's just a long time since I've seen this movie. Richard Dreyfuss, I think it is. When he's killed, when Lennon was killed, the father is very upset and very depressed, and his son wanted to console him and be with his dad, and the father was kind of like, you know, I'm going to butcher this a little bit, but it was like, you don't understand, or you wouldn't understand, trying to communicate with his son. And long story short, that was like this breaking point between the father and son. They had this connection, but the father was able to, I'm not so sure it wasn't a real true story either. I'm gonna have to look it up while we go to break, but he was a music teacher, and he was able to find a way where his son and other people who had either loss of hearing or hearing inability to go to the speakers and touch and feel the rhythm and get the rhythm of the music through that way, tactically, I guess is the way to say it, versus, you know, from an audio perspective. So really, say that again.
You feel it in your bones. One of our dancer in the show is deaf, and all the music is done in rhythms through the stage. She feels it. We point the speakers down, and she's fine. She
feels the rhythm. Yeah. 1995, the movie came out, Mr. Holland's Opus. It was Richard Dreyfuss. I'm gonna look this up. Is it a true story? Based on a true story of a composer and reluctant music teacher, Glenn Holland, who over the course of his career touched the lives of generations of students while struggling with shrinking budgets, et cetera, et cetera. But the point was, check out this movie, gang, and then come back to me on it. We should talk. Maybe we should probably make a philanthropy and focus movie club. That's the new thing. Every time an idea comes in, Lisa, I just say it out loud and then try to make it happen. So, all right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want you to talk to me about when it started, what the first, because this is not like, starting a circus is not like, hey man, it's not like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's a little more complicated.
No,
And starting a nonprofit, as you and I have spoken about recently, is not so simple either. You need support, you need connections, you need
and
relationships.
hold on to that heart of that smile of that child that is experiencing the circus for the first time to their fullest capacity, because that's what you need. Keep holding on to that thought and that feeling, and then we'll talk about it more.
All right, I'm thinking about that in my heart. We will be right back. Philanthropy in Focus.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant. And on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you on edge? Hey, we live in challenging, edgy times, so let's lean in. I'm Sandra Bargman, the host of The Edge of Every Day, which airs each Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc. Tune in live with me and my friends and colleagues as we share stories and perspectives about pushing boundaries and exploring our rough edges. That's The Edge of Every Day on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
Join Tommy in his attic. Even when he's not in his attic, he is with you. And he's with the nonprofit sector. Your boy, the nonprofit sector connector. So Lisa, I had in my heart and in my mind's eye for the last minute and a half, that child who you talk about with that big smile, who's either experiencing that circus for the first time or experienced it and has been anticipating that experience again. So that's the driving force behind Omnium, and I'm imagining that's the driving force between the work you do personally.
Absolutely. So now take that thought and expand it out and know that 25% of the entire nation is that child. 1 in 4 people have a disability. That means somebody's brother, aunt, uncle, cousin, father, friend of a neighbor. Everybody, 87% of us are affected by people with disability. Disability doesn't care what color you are. It doesn't care what country you're born in. All of those factors which divide us disappear. So now we are all united. So now imagine a place where that child, that little child inside who wants to enjoy the circus, is joined by their entire family. So now you get 4 out of 4 people sharing an experience together, not just one day, because what if your other kid has a basketball game or a baseball game or a dance lesson or whatever? Families are busy. What if they can't come on that day? But what if any day you wanted to go and enjoy the circus, which is what brings families together? It's a multi-generational experience. That's why they say children of all ages, because there's something in it for every generation. So now imagine you can all go together any show you want and have the access just there for you so that you can all enjoy it.
So what did that look like in practice for you when you said, here's the idea. We want to make it this accessible, I guess is really a big word,
Right,
certainly
exactly.
inclusive. You know, that creates a whole spectrum of needs, and what do we do here, and how do we, because I guess if we think in terms of, and not to make these hard and fast rules, but if we think of the traditional delivery of the circus is just, let's say, less inclusive, right? More complicated for certain people to get access to, even just if we talk about just accessibility on the face of the accessibility thing, not even someone who can't see or can't hear or etc. There's a lot to tackle there. It's certainly not an infinite amount of challenges to tackle, but it certainly becomes something that's going, wow, we have to solve for this, we have to solve for that, right? Am I right in that regard? There was a lot to undertake.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't be everything to everybody perfectly, but you do the best you can do.
Yeah.
So my goal when we first started was to make sure that at least we had the major points covered, that sign language would be integrated throughout our production. I didn't want someone standing over in a corner where someone had to look there and then they missed all the action.
So you said this has to be right here. This has to be in part of the show.
Included. She has to be, it turns out it's a she in our particular production, but he, she, whatever. But the character must be intrinsic to the production. It's woven through, it's just a part of it. So we're just automatically a bilingual production, English and American Sign Language.
Wow. Easy
Enough to switch into Spanish, but at the moment, we're English and American Sign Language, so that it's just automatic. So it's not like you have to add on anything. We're just welcoming. And the audio description we do at every production, at every single show, so that anyone who needs it has it. There's always sound enhancing headsets for people who need the sound a little bit louder. We never have strobe lights. We always make sure that
let's stop for a second. Let's talk these through. The strobe light thing. What is that?
It triggers epilepsy. It could trigger epilepsy, and we don't want to hurt people.
Yeah. And certainly people with different sensory issues, those bright lights and things could be, sensory distracting. Or
is a big trigger for a lot of people. So we just took, instead of having it go from really bright to really black, we make sure that we leave the house lights on. So we never have a full blackout in our particular show, because that way we avoid a drastic sensory contrast. And we do the best we can to make everybody feel as welcome and as included as possible.
Yeah.
The other thing we do, which is, when I first started this, I was really thinking of in terms of audience access. But the audiences reminded me, there's no one up there that looks like me.
Yeah.
Representation really matters.
So it's representation, right? So that's the thing. So, okay. So first it was, well, we got to solve for access. People are, this is not accessible to them. It is not delivered in a fashion or a medium that they can receive it. And then all of a sudden, so you've worked towards that. And then then there's more feedback from the audience, which is, your community.
Exactly. And you have to see people with whom you can identify. And even more importantly, you have to see people that remind you that the person sitting next to you is equally amazing. So when you look into that ring in Omnium, which is our show, it means of all and belonging to all. When you look in that ring, you see people with legs, without legs, people who are deaf, people who are hearing, people who are low vision, people who are every spectrum of melanin because our culture is so panoramic. It's a panoramic mosaic.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And
I just got the chills. I literally just got the chills as you're talking, because I think, this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is the work. This is the inclusivity, the accessibility.
And it
I think
we are creating a microcosm of the world that we want to see. So for 90 minutes, you can live in this microcosm of complete inclusion, complete accessibility, awe-inspiring brilliance. I mean, these people aren't random people. They are professional circus artists for many generations. They're incredible. So for that 90 minutes, you get to live in this world, and you can take that world with you. You carry it with you in your heart. You go back to your office and you see somebody in your office with a different ability, and you'll say, wait, I just saw somebody in the circus do these incredible things. Maybe there's more to you than I thought, and vice versa.
Yeah. You know, I get up here on this show sometimes and I stamp my feet and I kind of get cranky and I say, like, we need, like, let me say it this way. We need to focus. You could spell it with an F, spell it with a PH, whatever. The point is, we need to focus on what people are capable of, what their abilities are, and let's accentuate the heck out of that. And let's stop, because I will tell you this is not, well, maybe it is self-deprecating, but I don't mean it to be that, like, that kind of humorous thing. But the point is, Lisa Lewis, I suck at a lot of stuff. I do. I don't have the ability to do many things, right? But you know what? There's like a handful of things that I'm pretty freaking good at. And then there's like 2 things that I'm real good at. And it's like, I want to focus on those things I'm really good at. Maybe try to improve the things that I'm interested in and want to get better at that. But if we all focused, if my former employers, if my business partners, whoever, talked about all the things I suck at, or I don't have the capacity or ability to do, well, that doesn't make any sense at all to me. And maybe this is a crude way of delivering the information I'm trying to get across. But the point of what I'm saying is, God, why can't we just focus on what people can and are good at and are interested in, and let's go after that. One quick anecdote I want to talk about. I'm involved with Best Buddies here in New York, or there in New York, because I'm not in New York, but up there in New York. Best Buddies, very good friends of mine.
Love that.
You love them, right? We gotta hook up on that, because I'm sure we could do some cool stuff together. We have so I met a couple of young ladies from Best Buddies about 7 or 8 years ago on Long Island. My cousin Linda had special needs, and Linda passed away about 10 years ago. And in her memory, my aunt and my cousins founded the Lindy Lou Foundation. And the Lindy Lou Foundation raises money for nonprofit organizations who are doing work around social interests for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So I meet these 2 young ladies from Best Buddies out on Long Island at the time. And I said, I want to be a part of what you're doing. I want the Lindy Lou Foundation to help. I want us to make an impact. And since then, we've donated several thousands of dollars, tens, probably $20,000, more than $20,000 over the years, to open up school programs on Long Island for Best Buddies. Eventually, I got asked to be on the New York City Advisory Board. And as things happen, as all the connections happen, TNG, I referenced it at the beginning, but the networking group that I'm very involved with, we decided that our holiday party, which is December 14th, which will be a virtual party, Best Buddies will be speaking at that event, specifically about their jobs program, because the jobs program is critical. And this is all going for me to tell you that there's a young man who I've met. I don't know if he knows who I am, but we've met. His name is Zach Smith. He is a participant in the Best Buddies jobs program. And Zach has a job with the NFL. And Zach has a job with the NFL. He does statistical work. He's a statistician. You know, all this, can imagine the amount of stats that are involved with the NFL. That's an ability that he has. I will tell you candidly, that is not an ability that I have. But by focusing on what he is good at, is talented at, he now has a great job with the NFL. So if we could it's just an anecdote, but the point of the matter for me is, how do we get to a place? And I think we're there, and maybe having conversations like we're having now, and maybe me using my big mouth to try and push people in different directions too, can be helpful towards that. But it's like, that to me is the most important thing. Lisa, where does that land with you?
If you are in New York, you are in luck. We are, as Omnium, we are over 40% of our staff and crew is people with disabilities. We hire people with disabilities. We put our money where our mouth is, because it's absolutely essential. We are now on I've lost track, I think it's our 2nd or 3rd intern from an organization in New York called Visions. Visions, sure. You know Visions?
For the blind, for people blind and visually impaired.
Blind and low vision.
Yeah.
So we have one young man with us right now who is phenomenal and he just has a real gift. I'm so grateful for him. We had a young man before that was also phenomenal. We've hired, my assistant actually comes to us through Job Path, which is a placement organization for people with more IDDD kind of a things. And he's phenomenal. Like everybody, our social media director has a disability. You put your money where your mouth is. You find, and as an organization, as Omnium, what we really do is exactly what you said. Here's what we need. We need a specific, this task or this, whatever needs to happen in order to move the organization forward. So who's really good at that? Who might be, for whom is that their strength? And we dig deeply into that community because people don't have so many opportunities. Not everybody. It's a great it's a great, wonderful resource for us to be able to employ people, to share with people, and to give people the opportunity to enter the arts because they don't have.
Yeah, thank you for saying all that. I wrote down what you said. For whom is that their strength? I love that. I mean, if we could think of that, and just think from a vantage point of strength versus weakness, or ability versus inability, it's just so critical. I'd be remiss if I didn't say something about so our company, my profession is we own an employee benefits agency. We used to be called the Vanguard Insurance Agency, but now we're called Vanguard Benefits. And I tell you this because the nonprofit organization that I sit on the board of that did our rebrand, mission, vision, value, new website, the whole thing, is an organization called the Spirit of Huntington Arts Center. And I'll do a little plug on the Spirit of Huntington because I'm a board member and I'm a big fan. They have art programs for people with different abilities. They have a great center out. It's a cultural arts center out in Long Island in Huntington. And they have an artworks program. And the artworks program teaches people, young people who, as they age out of the school system at age 21, often these people with intellectual and developmental disabilities or some other learning challenges, their programs are gone. There's not much for these folks to do because they've aged out of the system. And oftentimes some go to college, some don't. And unfortunately, some folks end up not having a lot of direction. So to kind of make this quick, the Artworks program is a program that teaches these young people a certificate level, college level coursework in digital arts. And then these people either go to work at the Spirit of Huntington Arts Center and do website and SEO and content creation for clients of the Arts Center, which is my firm, Vanguard Benefits now is now a client of having these people, again, accentuate what they're good at, go after and make an impact with the things they're good at and their abilities. And oftentimes they either work at the Arts Center or then they're getting hired in marketing positions at other nonprofits on Long Island specifically. So it's just like, talk ripple effect, right? And talk about the positive ripple effect. And that's one of these situations, Lisa, for me, that just continues to give. So I will give a quick shout out to check out our website, which I never do on this program. So check out our website, Vanguard Benefits, YOU.com, Vanguard Benefits U. And the whole angle is our agency benefits our clients. It benefits their employees. It benefits the families of the employees, but it also benefits the nonprofit sector, which is where I certainly spend, and we as an agency spend a lot of time in. So we do have to take a quick break, but comment on that quick if you had something.
I'm just going to say that's exactly the way the world needs to be, as we all support each other. We support businesses, Spectrum Designs. We get our t-shirts.
Love Spectrum.
The business that hires people with disabilities. Pumpkin Futz is another one. But if we
which one? Pumpkin Futz?
PUNKIN. Pumpkin Futz is another organization that employs all people with disabilities. It's an of, by, and for company based out of Brooklyn. We have to support each other, and together as we lift each other up. Yes, we are in the nonprofit sector because we're not making a lot of money on this, but that doesn't mean that these values don't transfer to the for-profit sector.
100%.
Our whole world works together in this.
100%. Totally about strategic alliances, strategic relationships. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back to dive back into this, but I talk a lot about that. That's what it's all about. This is Philanthropy in Focus. That's Lisa. I'm Tommy D. We'll be right back.
Are you passionate about the conversation around racism? Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. TLC, host of the Dismantle Racism Show, which airs every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc. Join me and my amazing guests as we discuss ways to uncover, dismantle, and eradicate racism. That's Thursdays at 11 o'clock a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a small business trying to navigate the COVID-19 related employment laws? Hello, I'm Eric Sauber, employment law business law attorney and host of the new radio show, Employment Law Today. On my show, we'll have guests to discuss the common employment law challenges business owners are facing during these trying times. Tune in on Tuesday evenings from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
Hey, everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy and Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
Teamwork, it makes the dream work. I just made that song up during the break. Ta-da. All right, so we're back. I'm a performer. I'm going to be in the circus. We're going to find something for me to do, man. I was doing like, just as, again, for those who are not watching, I was doing like the strongman pose while we went to break and things like that, and making my friend Lisa chuckle a little bit. I'd say teamwork makes a dream work, because if it's not for the people in my sphere, in my people looking out for me, then I can't do a lot of the stuff I'm doing. What am I talking about? So I'm looking on Facebook on this little monitor that I'm operating off of today. So again, just to give people a feel of where where I am. I usually have 3 monitors, and I feel like I'm like Kirk on the Starship Enterprise usually. And now I will share with you, Lisa, I have my laptop on top of my suitcase on top of the ironing board. So I didn't give everybody in the hotel room, because I wanted to be able to stand while I did the show. So, but talk about teamwork. Pumpkin Futz, which is Mick Collins is hooking me up. He puts Vanguard out there on Facebook. He puts Pumpkin Futz. I feel like every time I say that, I'm going to say a foul word. I feel like somehow my mind is going to screw it up, and I'm going to say a bad word when I say Pumpkin Futz. So
Pumpkin, Punkin. It's the
I
nickname
know
she used to. Her children are both disabled, and it's a nickname two of them are, and it's a nickname she uses. Them Pumpkin Futz. Punk.
I love it. I just feel like my brain is going to say a dirty word. I'm just saying, it just feels that way. It feels like I'm playing around. But Mick, thank you for your support. Thanks for throwing all the stuff up there and always on Facebook answering things when I don't have the time to. And I just shared the Lindy Lou Foundation since I mentioned it. Go to LINDYLOO.org. That's in memory of my cousin Linda Ann Cunningham. Linda, we love you. We miss you. Obviously, we'd rather Linda to be back with us, but since that doesn't work, we're just continuing her legacy of supporting organizations that do this great work in the nonprofit sector, but specifically for the IDD, intellectually and developmentally disabled community. All right, Lisa, first of all, when is the next show? Is there a scheduled show? How often do shows happen? If I wanted to have the circus come to my town, like, I pretend it's not me, because I'm just making like, if someone wanted to have the circus come to their town, because you and I talked about this, they got to get some dollar support. They got to get a venue. How does it all work? Give me the logistics of the whole thing.
It's actually not as intimidating as one might think. So first of all, where you can see the circus, February 25th. Tickets are on sale now at Capital One Hall in Tysons, Virginia. So we will be there. There's a 2:00 show. There's an evening show, but that is specifically as a fundraiser gala for Easter Seals. We are partnering with Easter Seals, and we love Easter Seals.
Awesome.
So that's how that's working. Saturday, February 25th. Keep on moving, March the 2nd. If you happen to live in New Hampshire, we will be at the Giles Center in New Hampshire. Then keep on coming back south, March the 5th. That's March the 2nd, we'll be in New Hampshire. March the 5th, for anybody in the New York area, we will be at William Patterson University at Shea Performing Arts Center. And that is a Sunday 2 p.m. show. Tickets should be on sale for that in the next week or so. So keep an eye out for that. So that's if you are an individual and want to come see the show, we'd love to have you. If you want to bring the show to you, you contact us, info@omniumcircus.org. We are a fully produced production. If you're a performing arts center and want to bring us in, that's great. If you want to bring us in to help support your gala, we're doing a couple of big galas for people where we bring in the show and help you guys, because it's all about working together. Yeah, I mean, you need a space, need some money, because all the artists are professional artists, and I won't ask anyone to work without being paid. That's not
I
fair.
love that. I love that part. So I'm trying to see, because of my own technology limitations, I was going to try and share my screen to show the page, because these are right on the website. So omniumcircus.org is where you're going to go, folks. OMNIUM circus.org. And right on that front page, you're going to see these banners: donate, which you certainly should hit the heck out of that one. But
Yes, please.
Donate, sponsorship, and then events is below that. When you click on events, I see right here, there's links for the event, as you said, at Capital One Hall in Tysons, Virginia. That's the 25th. That's a Saturday from 2 to 4. And then the March 5th event. And then there's actually, I see an April event as well in New York. New Victory Theater.
2024.
Oh, 2024. Got it.
Yes, April 8th through 28th, 2024.
Wow. So, 8th through 28th. So that's,
We will be
how
3
many-
weeks at the New Vic, but not till 2024.
How
So
many
you
shows?
have to wait. 8 shows a week times 3 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
You gotta wait. It's
Yeah,
2024.
I know.
But you should still go to the New Vic this year, because they've got phenomenal programs. I love the New Vic. They do
So-
beautiful, beautiful work.
So the New Victor Theater, you say, the Victory Theater, right? You should check it out. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
They do great programming all year round for families, and accessible. They do great job with access as well. It's a great, great organization.
so let me ask you this. I don't remember if it was you and I speaking about this. This just came up in a conversation the other day. I don't know if it was you and me or somebody else, but the Tillis Center out at, was that you and me talking the other day about this or no?
Could be. I've reached out to them. I haven't heard back yet. If anybody's listening from the Tillis
Yeah.
Center, check my email.
Shout
check
that
my
out.
email to see if you got one.
Yeah, because there's a lot of Long Island folks that are listening.
Yeah,
right?
I'd love to work at the Tillis Center.
All right. So shout out to my Long Island network. Do we have any connections at the Tillis Center? We'll make a note of that. We'll find out. I did have a connection there. It's a couple of years back. But they were very focused and I'll have to look these two women up. They were great. And just at the time being, we didn't really have anything to collaborate on. You and I didn't know each other. The circus didn't even exist back then, what I'm talking about.
Right.
And they were very focused on, what's the word I'm looking for? Sensory friendly type
So we got
programming.
that. So we
That's
got
what
that.
I mean. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. So at the time, it wasn't really relevant to me. Not that information wasn't relevant, but I didn't have an answer for them. I
Right.
was like trying to say, I don't know, what can we do? And then, are there other places you want to get into? Are there corporate relationships that you think would be a good fit for the circus? Talk about that.
I think that we are an excellent fit for corporations, because we are able to make happen what they want to see. A corporation is able to sponsor us. We'd love to pick up a couple of more sponsors. If anybody wants to join up, come join us. We'd love it, because as a sponsor, as a corporate sponsor, you get to share all of this inclusion and access and joy and wonder with all of these families, and claim ownership for that, because you provide the thing that we can't provide. We've got the access, we've got the artists, we have all of the meat to make this happen, but we can't do it without our corporate sponsors and without our corporate partners. It's a team.
Yeah.
Everybody has a really important role. It's really
100%.
an effort.
I want to I'm just going to be bold because I tend to be, and we should have the Omnium Circus do a show out on Long Island somewhere, you know.
Yes, please.
So I don't know how any of that works. But I do know that's not even true. I do know how it works. It means we get the right people in the room at the same time and we have a conversation. That's how it works.
That's
But
how
I mean, I detail wise, I don't know how we structured it, figure it out, but let's talk about that. You and I off the podcast and make a time to bring together the right people, because many of the organizations, as I've already spoken to about on this show and probably to you in the past, many of the organizations that I hang out with are serving this community, are serving this population, and are catering towards this population. I mean, we just I was just at an event the other night, about 2 weeks ago. My business partner, Ed Probst, was an honoree at the gala for CP Nassau, Cerebral Palsy of Nassau County. You know, these are folks. We have another client friend of ours, Rise Life Services, which serves so these are the populations or these are the organizations that serve that population. And we only hang out with these people all week long, meaning these people who run these organizations. So we should probably, I don't know how much space we need to do a circus, but we should probably figure out a way to do something at the Spirit of Huntington Arts Center, which, you know, I don't know. This is how the show works. I start to like create things right here while we're.
So imagine, what is one thing? This is a trick question because there's only one obvious answer. But
Okay.
What is one thing that everybody wants, everybody in every one of these communities wants? It's called belonging.
Belonging.
Everybody wants belonging. So the circus isn't only, it is for all of these populations. Everyone is welcome. And it's for all of the populations around. It's for the non-neurodiverse, for the neurotypical. It's for people without disabilities, and for all of the people with disabilities, so that we can share it together, so that we all feel belonging. So you don't feel like this is just for this or this or this.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
Way to bring everybody together and make disabilities normalized. Like
100%.
we're all in the same world.
We are. We got to take a quick break. I totally screwed up on every single break for today. So that's just it's just how the show went today. So we'll take a quick one. We'll come back. I want you to just drive it home for people. But yeah, it's about belonging. It was about diversity, equity, inclusion, and then they added that B. It's diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, right? There's a new award for the Long Island Imagine Awards, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. So we got to split. We'll take a break. Lisa B. Lewis and Tommy DiMisa. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy and Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
In a post-COVID world, you may have many unanswered questions regarding your health. Are you looking to live a healthier lifestyle? Do you have a desire to learn more about mental health and enhance your quality of life? Or do you just want to participate in self-understanding and awareness? I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each Thursday, I will tackle these questions and work to enlighten you. Tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will be frank about health to advocate for all of us.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant. And on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
This is Philanthropy and Focus. Let me tell you this. If you have a dream, if you have a vision, if you want to do something, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, do the rest of humanity or the planet a favor. Just go do the thing. Just get out there and do it. I'm reflecting as we're a commercial. But this whole thing that we're doing here, Philanthropy and Focus, was an idea that I walked around telling people about for like 2 years, and I'm approaching 99 episodes of a program that was just an idea, right? Just out here amplifying the message for nonprofits, baby, telling the stories, amplifying the message, and playing the one role that is my favorite role to play, connector, and bringing people together. So, I know this. 1 + 1 in regular math, I believe it's 2. I believe that because that's what I was told. But in networking math, it's not 2, man. It's some other number, some exponential number, because I think in here he comes, he's going to be bold. I think in networking math and relationship math, 1 + 1 is infinity, because it's just how far do the ripples go? I don't know. I used to know, okay, Lisa, why don't you meet Ken Serini and I want you guys to connect. And well, that's like one level maybe, but what happens when Ken brings you into his network and you into Ken's network, and those people bring you into their network, and she tells 2 people, and she tells 2 people, and she tells 2 people, and all that happens, and it goes on and on and on and on. So Lisa, let's leave it out on the field. Let's leave it in the ring, 3 rings, a circus. Let's leave it out there. What do we need? Who can we connect you with? How can we get you hooked up?
So first of all, everybody out there listening, please go to our website. We are revamping it soon, so enjoy it now because it's about to look better.
Cool.
It's a process. It's all a process. omniumcircus.org. And we would love to meet people who can partner with us. It's all about working together, just like you said, with the network. Corporate partners, people partners, sponsorship partners. We've got an amazing show out there. Come see the show. Join us.
That's awesome. So let's give out the dates one more time. You have them in front of you again?
Yep. So February 25th, we are in Tysons, Virginia at Cap One Hall. And that tickets are on sale for that now. There's actually a 50% off, a 2-for-1 offer now, early bird special, since the show's not till February. So you can get that through our website. That's February 25th. March 2nd, we will be in New Hampshire, and tickets will go on sale for that probably next week or the week after. And then March 2nd, we're in New Hampshire. March the 5th, we will be at Shea Auditorium in Paterson, New Jersey. And again, stay up with our website. We will have those on sale in the next week or so. And we're still out there. If you want to bring us in, if you have an idea, we are represented by Harmony Artists, which is a national booking company. And just email us, info@omniumcircus.org. If you want to be involved, if you have an idea, if your company says, hey, we really are a proponent of equity and inclusion and access, and we'd like to help you, we'd love to have your help. So come on in. Access is expensive. It costs more than the market will bear, and that's why we're not profits. So
yeah,
come join us.
Is there, if you had to project yourself in your mind's eye, let's say 5 years into the future, what is the ideal scenario for this circus? I like to play this game where you just think into the future, and it's sort of like back from the future thinking. What do you? I know as a visionary, I'm sure you think like that.
Oh, I got this one. I love this question. I love it. 5 years in the future, where do I see Omnium? I see us as a professional touring company performing in performing arts centers nationwide. I see us working in state fairs, performing arts centers, galas, venues. I see our education program working in schools, hopefully like the Viscardi Center. We're working with New York Institute for Special Education right now, trying to create a program teaching circus to students who are blind and low vision. We did that last summer. We're repeating that. We're building that program. But to inspire more young people to learn the skills and to want to join this art form. They've never had the opportunity before. There's plenty of circus programs for able-bodied people, but there aren't as many adaptive programs. So I'd like our education program to be in even more schools and community centers and group homes. I'd like to work more with adult education. We're already starting an online series. We'll be doing once a month, just teaching people about diversity, equity, inclusion, access, and belonging, and ask us questions. We've learned the hard way. We've tried things, they failed. We tried again, keep on going. We're all in this together. And we will continue to maintain our workforce with a minimum of 25% persons with disabilities, balanced in all demographics. This year, in addition to being an incredible an honoree of a finalist at the New York Imagine Awards, which was awesome.
It was
We
awesome.
also got the NOD Awards, National Organization for Disability Award for employment, for our employment practices for hiring people. And so we want to give more people opportunities to come to learn the arts and go off and be in the arts. Let's change the world. Let's let this ripple happen.
Yes.
Like I say to my
Yes.
company before every show, let's change the freaking world.
You know, it's so funny. I don't have my coffee mug, but my friend Dara Rosenbaum got me a coffee mug. And because I go around, I say, I have this little catchphrase that I started just saying it. It's like, no big deal, just changing the world. And my friend Dara sent me a coffee mug. What do you got? Show me what you have.
My coffee mug says, impossible, you say? Nothing is impossible when you work for the circus.
Yeah, baby. And I want to work for the circus just because I got extra time in the day. I got like 3-4 minutes a day. That is not filled up with other stuff. No, but two things I want to ask before you go. Well, I don't even have time to ask these questions. Viscardi, are you already connected and working with Viscardi? Because I know.
I would love to meet some more. I left them a message. I talked to them the other day
Yeah.
about trying to put a grant together, and that particular one was too last minute.
All right, let's talk about that.
I'd love
Laura,
to do that. Love to meet
Lauren
them.
Marzel's a friend of mine. John Kemp, the former leader of the organization, I know very well. He's we got to get you connected, John. John's been on the show. There was another question I had. So we talked with Viscardi. I guess I could say this. Here's my last question. You need volunteers at some points, right? I guess.
Absolutely.
For certain
Yes.
things. So they can get, this is more of a statement than a question. We need to find something for me to do with the circus, volunteering, so we can make a whole thing like where but I mean that I'm actually making an impact, right? Like where it's a good thing, right? But I think it would be fun to do like a promotion and get people all riled up about the circus, like because Tommy D's on the road with the circus. Yay!
Let's do it. Let's do
So I
it.
want to talk.
I'd love to.
I want to talk about that. Lisa,
love
I'm so
to.
appreciative. I'm so happy you came here today on the show. I appreciate you. I appreciate what the organization is doing. Let's come up with an idea. Let's get a game plan together. Let's put a committee of folks together out on Long Island, and let's figure out whether it's the Tillis Center, whether it's the Adelphi Performing Arts Center, wherever it is, maybe it's out at Stony
Great
Brook
one.
University,
Yep.
wherever. Let's get the circus out here on Long Island. I appreciate you. We got to leave it here. Steve Fry's coming up with Always Friday. Lisa, thank you for being here. Dylan, thank you for
so much
managing
for
things.
having me.
You're welcome. Make it a great day, everybody. Go do some service.